Good morning students. Welcome to the next class of biology. Students, we were doing the chapter Plant Kingdom. In that we have done with our second group, that is bryophytes. In this video we are going to discuss the third group, that is pteridophytes. Now we will discuss about the general characteristics of pteridophytes. See, in pteridophytes the word pteron means feathers and phyton means plants. That means they are plants which look like feathers. They include horsetails and the ferns. The example of horsetails is equisetum and fern is pteris. Pteris is very common and it is used as an ornamental plant. So they are the first terrestrial plants to possess the vascular tissue. It is very important point that they have xylem and phloem. So xylem is used for the conduction of water and phloem is used for the conduction of food. Next, they are the largest living group of the vascular plants. And the main plant body of pteridophyte is sporophytic, which is a different character from the previous groups, in that the main plant body was gametophytic, but in case of pteridophyte it is sporophytic. Next, they are differentiated into true root, stems and leaves, and the habitat where they are found is moist, damp places, and it is also grown in the sandy soil. Next is, if the small leaves are present, for example in Slaginella, they are called as microphyls. You can see in the picture the small leaves are called microphyls, but if the leaves are larger in size, then they are called macrophyls. Example is all the ferns. Next, sporophyte. This sporophytic body, it bears the sporangia, in which the spores are present, and these sporangia are further subtended by some leaf-like appendages which are called sporophylls. Sporo means spores, phylls means leaves. So these are the leaves which are present outside the sporangia. Next, in case of Slaginella and equisetum, the sporophylls, these subtended sporophylls are forming a distinct pack structure. They form a compact structure which is called as strobili or the cones. You can see in the picture, first Slaginella, at the tip cone is formed, and similarly in case of equisetum there is a distinct compact cone or strobili is present. And the next is sporangia. See, if these sporangia are born singly or in groups, if they are present in groups, they are called as sori. Sori is for plural, and if we talk about singular, we call it sorus. And in these sporangia, they produce the spores by meiosis in the spore mother cells. That is, they produce the haploid spores. Now these haploid spores will germinate to give rise the small, inconspicuous, multicellular, free-living, mostly photosynthetic thalloid gametophyte. See, these haploid spores will germinate and form the prothallus. Second, you can see in the second picture, this is the prothallus, which is the thalloid gametophyte. This is the only thallus structure in the life cycle, that is the thalloid gametophyte. It is small, inconspicuous, multicellular and free living. It will not depend upon the sporophyte. It is mostly photosynthetic. It is very important, may be asked in 1 mark question, what is prothallus? So it is the small multicellular free living photosynthetic thalloid gametophyte which is germinated from the spores. Next, this gametophyte will require the cool, damp and the shady place to grow, and also for fertilization water is very necessary. So this is due to the reason जो ये pteridophytes है, they are present in the limited and restricted area, because without water the fertilization is not possible. Next, these gametophytes bear the male sex organs and the female sex organs. You can see in the diagram, the male sex organ are called antheridia and the female sex organ are called as archegonia. As we have discussed that water is necessary for the transfer of antherozoites. So these male gametes will swim and released at the mouth of archegonia and fuse with the egg and will form the diploid zygote. So this zygote will develop and form the multicellular well differentiated sporophyte. So see, we have discussed about gametophyte that was reduced, small, fine, although it was independent. But in case of sporophyte, it is multicellular and very well differentiated. So it is the dominant phase of the pteridophyte. Very important, sporophytic phase is the dominant phase in case of pteridophytes. In the two groups, that is algae and bryophytes, the dominant phase was the gametophyte. So this is the major difference. Next, we talk about the type of spores. See, majority of the pteridophytes, the homosporous condition is there. That is, all the spores are of same kinds. Example is Equisetum. Next, if we talk about Selaginella and Salvinia, there are heterosporous condition. There are two types of spores formed. The two types of spores are the megaspores and the microspores. The megaspores will germinate into the female gametophyte and the microspores will germinate into the male gametophyte. See, this female gametophyte retain over the parent sporophyte. It remains attached to the parent sporophyte for the development of the zygote into a young embryo. That means the development of zygote to the young embryo will take place in the female gametophyte, and this is the very important event or basis of the precursor to seed habit. So it is very important step in evolution. Although in pteridophytes seeds are not formed, in this the spores are formed, but this step, the development of zygote into the young embryo inside the female gametophyte, is the precursor to seed habit. That means in the next group we will find the seeds. The seeds will start forming. So this is a very important step. So pteridophytes are of four types. First is Psilopsida, second is Lycopsida, third is Sphenopsida, and the fourth is Pteropsida. See, the example of Psilopsida is a Psilotum, which is the first vascular plant. Next, Lycopsida, example is Slaginella, also called as spike moss. Second is Lycopodium, called as club moss. Third, Sphenopsida. Examples are Equisetum, which are also called horsetails, and scoring rushes. Scoring rushes means the stem texture is very rough and used for you can say rubbing or polishing the utensils. Next is Pteropsida. The example is Drypteris and the Adiantum. Adiantum is also called as walking fern. It is due to the reason कि जो इसका parent plant body का leaf है, wherever it touches the ground, it starts growing and it shows a walking effect. Next, you can see the picture of Psilotum, the simplest first vascular plant. Slaginella, that is the spike moss. Equisetum, scoring rushes, and the Adiantum, that is the walking fern. Next, we will talk about the economic importance. So it is used as an ornamental plant because it is very beautiful. So it is also used for making the flower bouquet. Next, they have true roots, so they act as soil binders and ultimately prevents the soil erosion during the heavy rain. The stems are used for scouring. Example is equisetum, the horsetails. And some dyes are also extracted from the pteridophytes. The example is pteridium. We can extract the green dyes. And the last is, it is also used for making many kinds of medicines. So it has medicinal purpose also. This was all about the economic importance of pteridophytes. With this, our third group, that is pteridophytes, is completed. And in the next lecture, we will discuss about the fourth group, that is the gymnosperms. Thanks for watching the video.